Back in 2002, my colleague at MIT, Shigeru Miyagawa, and I founded a project called Visualizing Cultures. We were seizing on that moment when the IT, the information technology revolution, was taking off. And we were also seizing on a moment when there was enormous idealism as to what the new IT revolution could do. It could make available materials that were hitherto inaccessible, and they could be shared worldwide under a concept, an almost philosophical concept, a wonderful idealistic concept called Creative Commons, where anyone who used our materials could reuse them for educational, non-commercial purposes and share them. So you can download anything that you see on this MOOC and use it for educational purposes, because almost all of this comes from the Visualizing Cultures project. The concept here was that we can tap into technology and tap into the notion that visual resources, which were so hard to access earlier, they were printed in the pages of books, they were tucked away in archives. Now we could access them, and they were like texts, just like written text. We looked at them and we saw the past through different eyes, and with the eyes of photographers, artists, cartoonists, whomever of the time.
There is this notion that the only reliable evidence in history is text. And that idea is somewhat dying out, but it was an opportunity to take you, the user, and among ourselves, professionals, to look at the idea that there's a whole bundle of stuff out there, images like we're seeing here with prints, photographs, on and on, film clips, that are as viable as anything else to convey what was going on in these periods. So that was very exciting for me. I was absolutely intrigued by the concept of visualizing cultures. In a way, it's a museum curator's dream. We do exhibitions, we publish books, but it was the first time in my experience that we were actually offered an opportunity to disseminate a wide range of ideas, in this case about Japan, roughly from 1850 to 1950, and to get them out in a very useful educational format.
One of the things that the new information technology, these new revolutions in digital communication enabled us to do was to drop enormous numbers of images online. You could never do that in the world I grew up in or Jim grew up in as young scholars or academics. You wrote something and then you had one static picture, another static picture, another. They were illustrations, but we're dropping loads of images, and we include big databases with our units. And one of the great things, if you're a teacher or student or just an interested participant, is you can take the images and create your own narratives, tell a different story. So there is this incredible ability we have now to use these materials creatively.